Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So this has been 30 years in the making.
30 years. We've known each other for 34 years.
30, yeah.
34 years.
hmm
Yeah. And about, 30 years in the making.
So, okay, so why did we want to even do this?
Well, this is Red Hot Marriage. Red Hot Marriage started when we were teens.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it was a meeting that we were at,
hmm
and in that meeting, someone said about Red Hot Marriage, and that stuck.
Yeah.
And
I think it was before we even got married
yeah,
that
yeah,
we had heard about this,
we're
the Red Hot
teenagers. We're
marriage.
going
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a very important piece to it too, because
hmm
even before we got married,
Yeah.
that was already stirring in our hearts. And now I think that Red Hot Marriage back in the day, it started with the just the passion, the connection that we had, the fire between us, and and it evolved into that and a lot deeper things that I hope that in the midst of the the podcast, and as we drop additional episodes, that is what is conveyed.
hmm
That is, it is that in addition to some of the experience of life and some of the things that we get to grow into and create Red Hot Marriage.
Yeah, and I think, when it started, it started exactly like that. Like it was about sexy time. It was about being passionate and all these things. And now it's the hot for us stands for honest, open, and transparent living and conversations and how we do marriage now. But it took 30 years in the making to get us to this
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
Sometimes and I know we've kidded around this before, that we sit with couples that have been married for, 6 months or 6 years, and they're doing something, they're launching a podcast or coaching or mentoring or whatever. And we're thinking, okay, that's laughable. You have not even been through like round one of what marriage actually faces, right? So we're coming at this from a place of, yes, being almost 30 years. In December, it'll be 30 years
yeah,
married. And like you said, we've been together even longer than that, but also from a place of like, this is what we've walked through in our life. This is the life experience that we have. As pastors, we've sat with countless hundreds of
yeah,
people throughout,
yeah.
talking to them about relationship issues, about addictions, about all sorts of things.
Mhm.
And we've walked with people. So I know we've talked about being not only mentors and not only coaches, but a Sherpa. Can you talk about
Yes,
that? What
yeah,
that is?
yeah. I think that's very important to where we're going and where we want this podcast to go.
Yeah.
That in the course of time that we've encountered challenges and had to navigate difficult times, that gave us the tools because of what we went through, the tools that we had to navigate through. And it was like landmines. It was
Yeah.
things that were crazy and hard, but that equipped us to be like a Sherpa.
Yeah.
If people listening to this have any idea what a Sherpa are those men and women, that go and help those that pay to go on Everest and travel on Everest. And these guys help with carrying, all the equipment and oxygen and all those things that are critical in the climb. But these guys are not only experts, but they are like people that know the trail.
Right.
They've been there multiple times. They come down from the
With
mountain.
ease.
Yeah, and they know where to navigate, how to do it, how to get there and be there safe. And I think for us, because we've navigated some difficult
Difficult things.
challenges, this would be a place for people to come and take this podcast as people that are Sherpas, and either they can sit and listen to some of the pods that we'll be dropping, but also they can come into a relationship with us as well, as we can help them navigate as Sherpas do, and get to the point that they can get healing and get a different step of a different place in life, things that they can grow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that example of a Sherpa, because if you've never walked that path, then you have no idea how to even get there, or what to even do when you're there. And when you
Right.
have someone that has already walked that path and knows a way and is trying to really help you get to the summit, right?
Yeah.
And then make it back down, that is so critical. And I think that we've had people in our lives, we've had couples in our lives, and I can think of our besties that have really been there for us and have helped us navigate. They're a few years ahead of us. They have kind of gone down a path that has been challenging too,
Absolutely.
and they have been there to help us. And I think of how many couples that don't have that,
Yeah.
because we come across them, and we
Right.
have sat with
Yeah.
many of them that have no idea where to go, what to do. And this is why we want to do this type of platform. So in hopes that it will help people, give them hope
Yeah.
to, that there is more, that there is a future, that there is hope and healing after whatever it is that they're experiencing. So part of our story, and we'll just share real briefly how we met, and how long ago was that? Let's see if you remember.
But before we get there,
Okay.
I think that another thing that we have to mention, and I think to clarify and give more of an example
Yeah.
for the how a Sherpa navigates all these things, right? And it takes me back to my days in college. I had a professor, and he was a business professor, and he was teaching us entrepreneurship in the class, and he'd never been an entrepreneur. Like, he was an expert in the subject,
Mhm.
but he never ran a business. He never ran a
Wow.
home business. He never ran,
Never
a
created
Subway
anything.
or
Okay.
any type of
Wow.
business. So that is different,
Mhm.
right? That is
Mhm.
different, that you can become an expert by knowledge, by
True.
learning.
You can go to school,
You can go to school. You
get
can
all your degrees.
you can get degrees. All these things that you can accumulate, right, in knowledge of how to navigate different things. But if you haven't crossed that path,
Mhm.
you're speaking from a point of just having the knowledge.
Right.
And we've acquired a lot of knowledge because we had to pay for it.
And we also have the schooling
And
to go
yeah.
with it too.
And but also we have a vast experience
Exactly.
navigating
Yeah.
with couples, and even our own experience
Right.
navigating through that. And I think that makes a big difference.
It's true.
That we speak from a place of a deep knowing, not only personally, which is the first point of view, but also from the perspective of helping others.
And from a place of humility too, because we have fallen on our faces so much,
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
just made
Yeah.
terrible mistakes
Yeah.
too. I can think of, our passion for this is because we almost didn't make it
Yeah.
in marriage. And that's
Yeah.
a part of our story that few friends know, but we almost, it was, year 20 was like, okay, don't know if this is gonna go anywhere. So
Mhm.
we're in year 30 now, almost on year 30.
Yeah.
And it's something that
Yay, we made it.
Thank you, Lord.
we made the 3-year, the 5-year, the 7-year mark, the
But-
10-year mark.
But it's real.
But
it's real.
All those thresholds.
Yeah. And that's what we're here. We're passionate about doing this because we want to see people make it. We've
Yeah.
had people, friends that we've seen not make it
Right.
in marriage. And it's like, okay, how can we come alongside someone and help them to make it to the
Yeah.
the other side? So
Now, I think people have also like a misconception of what it
Yeah.
is to make it. Maybe couples feel that if they're gonna make it, or for them making it means that they have no issues anymore. That they're navigating this
those are
difficult.
the red flags in my life. The
Right.
people that say like, "Oh, we never fight. We
Right,
get along.
right.
My
Red
husband
flag.
is
Red
perfect."
flag. Right.
And I'm like, "Oh, girl, he's lying to you."
Right.
I just, it's so hard because there's no way.
Right.
There's just no
Or
way.
someone when they say, "Man, we're struggling. We're having another
Yeah.
argument, another thing." That's not struggling. That's like
No.
living life
Yeah.
together, right? You're two separate human
Yeah.
beings, and you have to be okay
Yeah.
being different,
Yeah.
like thinking different,
Mhm.
and having different opinions, and navigating through disagreements.
Yeah.
And that's not struggling. You might not feel comfortable,
Right.
and maybe that's like a misunderstanding, but it's just living together.
Yeah.
And I think that making it, I think also about red hot marriage. Red hot marriage is not like a destination, but it's
Yeah.
it's a building process
It is.
forever.
Mhm.
That is
Always
red hot
growing.
marriage. You're
Always.
always building. Like,
Mhm.
you're always climbing past a plateau in your life.
Yeah.
You're always moving to a different level. But the moment that you decide, you said, okay, I've arrived, I have a, red hot marriage. That's the moment you start slipping, you start coasting downhill. And they say that the only way to coast is downhill. So anyway, but that's part of having or building, not having, but I say better said, building a red hot
And
marriage.
it's going to take work.
It's going to
I
take
think
work.
a lot of people think like, okay, we're married now. We love each other. We're passionate. We have all these things, but okay, now what? Now what? You still keep moving from like
Yeah.
this level to a deeper level to intimacy to all the things, right? And that takes just effort, and it takes being what is the word that I'm looking for? Very intentional of what
A
you
lot of
do.
purpose.
A lot of
Yeah.
intentionality with who you become, because who we are now to what we started with,
Yeah.
completely different people.
Completely different.
Yeah, and thank God that we're
Yeah.
completely different people.
And it's important to know that,
Mhm.
because knowing that we're two completely different people,
Individual. Mhm.
then I can, from that point of view, I can become stronger,
Mhm.
and I don't have to hide anything from you.
Yeah,
And I can offer you also more of me,
yeah.
who I am,
Mhm.
instead of being hiding it or being cautious or not being comfortable with parts of my story. I can
Yeah.
be completely honest and open,
Mhm.
and I can offer you more of you, and you get to love the parts of me that
Yeah.
I maybe I don't feel as comfortable.
And those are my favorite parts.
But I'm feeling okay with that.
Yeah,
Feeling
yeah.
okay
But
about
it's
that.
taken us this long,
Yeah.
and it's taken us a lot of therapy and a lot of walking through difficult, seasons
Yeah.
to get to this place, right? And our hope is that if we can expedite maybe that process for someone that is starting, it's like, hey, here are the tools.
Yeah.
So you can then
Yeah.
skip this part that was really, really hard and just kind of have the tools to move forward. That would be our heart behind all
Yeah.
this. So, okay, so going back, how far back do we go here? When we started, got married
Yeah.
almost 30 years ago, dated for 4 years,
hmm
went to 3 high school proms together.
Yes,
We
I
did
still have
that.
pictures. If
So
anyone wants
let's
pictures, I have pictures at the funny poses and all that.
but we met, and we'll share a little bit more of our story, then. But in this time that we got married, full of hope, full of dreams, full of just what we wanted our life to become. And then in this trajectory of being married, we faced breast cancer was one.
Yeah.
We faced homelessness. That's a
Yeah.
big one too.
Yeah.
We faced a lot of insecurity, financial insecurity.
Yeah.
We faced then our son coming out.
Yeah.
We then faced, of course, addiction, and
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's been a life full of transitions
Yeah.
and things that will shake you at your core.
Yeah.
And I think of all those, the hardest one has been facing the part of addiction, and how do you overcome that, right? And like porn addiction on my side,
Yeah.
and the impact that cost on you.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you navigate? How do you get back to
Back to
wholeness,
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah,
me,
true,
and
true.
and how to establish um how to heal and mend that commitment that was broken,
Yeah.
the promises, the vows that were broken, the sense of the betrayal that happened. That right there is for the rest of our live podcasts.
Right. But I know,
But it's
and
an important
it's so
point to
true.
something to say.
It's so true. And this is our heart behind this. I remember when we were thinking about doing something like this, and when you started working with the men,
Yeah.
in ministry and trying to help them navigate this. I did not ever want to share this part of our story, because for me there was so much shame involved too. Like I said, part of our story is, of course, breast cancer. So it became then about me. It became about I'm
Right.
not enough, I'm not good enough, all the different things, and we'll go deep into that later. But when you started working and seeing these changes in men, seeing like the freedom that they were experiencing, and I kept seeing that there was nothing for the women. nothing
Hmm.
for the women.
That's right.
I would talk to them and they were just lost as could be. And I
Hmm.
remember me myself being in that place. And I thought, how selfish of me to not step in and to share this part of our story. So I started doing that. I started doing that. And that became the very thing that brought me life.
Right.
That
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching them walk out now
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
story of freedom and deliverance and just overcoming,
Yeah.
the thing that the enemy would send to destroy them.
Hmm.
So that's been the journey for me personally of like walking alongside,
Yeah.
watching women get free
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And that's our passion. We work with all couples. We can work
Yeah.
with people. We can mentor, coach, do all the different things. But our specialty is definitely walking with people at the genesis whenever it hits the fan
Whenever it hits the fan, that
that
is, yeah.
they just,
Yeah.
became aware that there's
Yeah.
disclosure. So
Yeah, when
that is our passion.
whenever everything hits the fan and the men somehow they get discovered
Hmm.
by their wives, something happened, a
Yeah.
text comes through, a picture ends up in their phone, a website in their computer, in their search browser, and then from there is the snowball of devastation that
Yeah.
happens
Mhm.
in the wife, and it's a great disservice that we've done for the couple
Yeah.
over the years, because all the help, if there's any help at
Mhm.
all, has been for the men.
I know.
You see help in every form,
Mhm.
books and conferences and classes
Yeah.
at church, things that men have available, easily available.
Right.
But for many years, it was just the men,
Mhm.
and then the wives of the addicted were by themselves, like
Mhm.
no way to find healing, no places to find community that
Mhm.
have those conversations that bring about the healing that they need, the women need, the
Mhm.
betrayed need. And I think now this is going to be one of the
Yeah.
resources,
Yeah.
for women that are struggling with that.
Mhm.
But also it's going to be a resource for the men that want to find healing.
Mhm.
They want to find maturity
Mhm.
and growth
Mhm.
and how to step into being uh, a man,
Right.
the way that God calls men to be, free from any addictions, any things that are tied to their heart, that
Mhm.
ties to their past, to break with all that
Yeah.
and be able to grow and be able to offer their wives, their kids, their work environment, their friends,
Mhm.
a person that's truly free.
Yeah.
What would that look like for
Mhm.
men, right? The men are listening right now. What would that look like for you to look in yourself in the mirror and to know
Mhm.
that you're free?
Right. Not a lot of men know that because
Yeah,
they've been keeping secrets and
yeah,
trying to just portray this image of strength, of,
yeah.
unshakable, but addictions and sexual addictions will affect every
Every
aspect of
area,
your it
every,
touches everything.
yeah,
And especially now with all the accessibility that we have, it's
yeah,
everywhere. It's
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
I was reading somewhere that children as early as 8 years old are getting exposed and addicted to porn. So
yeah,
this is only something that is getting worse, not better. And we do a disservice, like you said, when we don't talk about these things openly. And what we have found is that the advice sometimes that is given in ministry is so um, far from being helpful.
yeah,
On the contrary, it is incredibly damaging to both. Pray more, fast more, do all these different things. There's more to that. Absolutely. We agree in the power of prayer. We
absolutely,
agree and we
absolutely,
know what
absolutely.
God can do in
Yeah,
people's lives, but there is more that has to
yeah,
be done
yeah,
it's in a situation like this. And sometimes as pastors, we are not equipped because we're not trauma informed on how to help
yeah,
someone navigate this.
absolutely.
I remember having a conversation with a friend that was a pastor too. And this person saying, "Hey, this individual came to me because they are needing some help." It's just like the little thing, the problem that every man have. And I'm like, "Well, what did you say?" He goes, "Well, just like pray more, like spend more time with the Lord and everything." And I was like, "Really?" Is that really what we are telling people? Is that really? So fix that one right away. It's like, no, you actually need these steps to actually get freedom. And yeah, absolutely, this is part
Yeah.
of it, but also this. And that's from where we come. We come from a place of being ourselves in therapy, in counseling,
And have
and
gotten really bad
have gone
advice.
really bad advice
Yeah.
too. And then learn like, oh, this is not how we do it. We're
Yeah.
not doing this. We're helping people truly get free from this.
Right. Right.
So that's our heart behind it too.
So whenever people see Red Hot Marriage,
Yeah.
they might look at this and say, "Oh, this is a podcast of having continue our red hot marriage that we have right now." I say yes, and we also equip you to
Mhm.
live a life that is fully connected
And honest.
and honest, that you
Yeah.
can live life to the fullest
Yeah.
with each other, but also form from that a beautiful relationship
Mhm.
that, yes, is going to be red hot,
Mhm.
but maybe what you're going to hear here is going to be a little bit different
Yeah.
because it's going to be real.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's about building a red hot marriage.
Yes.
And how do you build a red hot marriage?
So we'll give you tools. We'll give
Yes.
you the tools that we've used that have cost us thousands of dollars to acquire in
Yes.
therapy,
Yes.
and the things that we've seen work for
Absolutely.
marriages, and that's our hope. That's our hope, and that's our heart behind Red Hot Marriage is to
Absolutely.
help couples heal, to have a marriage that is of their dreams.
Yeah.
We should have a marriage that is heaven on earth.
Absolutely.
That is, and if we're not doing that, we're missing it.
Yes.
And that's where we'll die. That's exactly what we believe that we're
Yeah.
called to do, to help couples create that. And we're just happy. We're happy that you're here. We're happy that you're listening, and we're happy that this is going to be conversations that are going to be open, honest, and transparent. And we will let you into parts of our life that have been closed off and private for so long, but that I think that these conversations are so needed
Yeah.
in the church today.
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. It's going to
So,
be great. I think
I
we're going to
know.
have a great time, great
Yeah.
conversations, and our hope is that we get to help hundreds
Yeah.
of couples that listen to some of these conversations.
Yeah. So let's go.
Let's go. I love you.
Episode 1. Let's go. I love you, baby.